Friends presentation, which we've been doing for our banquets this year. And we have a particular couple that we will be recognizing for that. And after he's done, we'll be taking up our offering in the place sitting. There's a card like this, and it gives you an opportunity to share how you might like to support the work of the college. Certainly, we always need more Christian workers. Jesus asked us to pray for that. And if you'll just pray for us to find those workers, it's always amazing for me whenever we run into college or kids here who have met us while they were in high school, and they never thought about serving the Lord in a special way, but they met one of our students or one of our teams, and those are just some divinely appointed interactions sometimes that makes them realize that God can use them in a special way. And if that is something that you'll do for us, mark that. Also on the slip there, you can request our newsletter, and that's just a way to keep in touch with us and pray for some of the things that we are celebrating. But right now, I'd like for Lloyd Pelfrey to come and talk about our dedicated friends.
First, it's very good to see you here today. I'd like to go out there and just talk with each one of you, memories of with almost every person who's here. So it's really great to see you. I just now see Dave Abbott. We'll say more about you later. This is a special presentation in a way. You're getting it early because I have to go off to class shortly. And then I have to teach for an hour and get off an hour and then go back for an hour and a half. So here we go. Central's been blessed through the years to have many dedicated friends attend the on-campus events. These dedicated people eagerly anticipated the opportunity to visit the campus, to hear a speaker, and to have fellowship with their friends who also came to such gatherings. Each year, some of these people gained their eternal rewards. The events continue, but we miss those who used to enjoy them with us. Two such people were featured this past spring at the men's banquet and the women's banquet. They were Myron Ray McCulley and Karen Richardson. They were the first recipients of this designation, dedicated friend. Today, we continue this practice, but this time, we're featuring a couple representing Leon and Ruth Hollenbeck Ralls of Shelbyville, Missouri. As the first couple to be recognized in this way, Shelbyville is more than the hometown of Norm Stewart, Missouri's famous basketball coach. It's also the home of a dedicated couple who provided leadership and endless service for the church there and Central Christian College of the Bible. By the way, Leon and Ruth knew Norm Stewart. When they had their golden wedding anniversary, he came to the celebration. Leon and Ruth showed their support of the college in many ways. They were Minutemen, that group of people who delighted in helping when emergency situations arose. Do you remember the Memorial Day picnics and softball tournaments that we had around here almost 40 years ago? The Ralls family came to them. They also attended the Christmas concerts, living Christmas tree programs by the choir. For them, it was simply unthinkable to miss a men's banquet or a women's banquet or the Saints in Action. When Ruth died on Monday, September 8, 2014, it was just natural that Leon had to attend the Saints in Action event 10 days later on September 18. And he had Tom Plum bring him to the event. One of the factors that influenced Ralls was this. Ruth was this. She was in that very first group of students when classes began, September 4th, 1957. Take a look at that picture up there. You see Ruth by herself, and you see a group shot. In that group, in the front row center, you have Goldie Sperling, our first dean of women. Ruth is to her left or to our right. And then beside Mrs. Sperling, the other side is Karen Westergaard, as she was then, who became our dedicated servant at the women's banquet. And behind them, on the far right, Glendola Magruder became a Johnson. And beside her, Mary Sue Lusby now, used to be Roebuck. And then, if you know Kramer Smith, the one in the top left is his sister, Izetta. I can tell that picture was taken about the second semester of the first year because of the people who were in it. Izetta did not come till January. One of my favorite memories back in the days when we were just a family was Izetta yelling and down the hall to Jack Richardson and said to Jack, "Jack, fill the washing machine." Okay. That group of students had a strong bond that developed. If they were in this area, they faithfully came to events at the college so as to be with their special friends. Ruth said that her college friends were the best friends of her life. Ruth saves things such as the college catalogs during her student years, copies of the programs at the college, and in the churches where the college sent them. For example, she had a copy of the very first catalog, but there's a page missing. It's the last page, and it had the application for admission. It's what she used to apply as one of the first students in the college. During those early days, the college students traveled and presented programs for supporting congregations. Sometimes it seemed that the entire student body went. Ruth was always in the groups. Sometimes she sang. Sometimes she played the piano for others. That was in the day when another student may have been doing chalk art. Remember chalk art? Completing a picture while a song was being sung. I could never understand that talent. It's not mine. Ruth was in the first commencement service in 1958. She received a 2-year certificate. She was able to do this because in the previous year, she had attended Lincoln Bible Institute, now Lincoln Christian University. In the summer of 1959, you see that picture there, Ruth and Karen Westergaard Richardson went to East Tennessee, to Elizabethton, to work in the East Tennessee Children's Home. Working together for Christ does create a special bond, and it did for them. You may recall, as I said earlier, it was Karen who was honored this last spring. After Ruth was graduated in 1960, let me go back to this picture. Here's a personal story. I preached up at Kirksville one time, and a young couple, he was there studying to be a doctor, took me out to lunch. And his wife, very attractive lady, told me she was a product of that children's home. And she told me the year she was there, and I said, "You know Karen Westergaard?" She said, "Yes. She was there at this institution when I was being admitted. And she really wanted to see Karen." And I said, "Well, I know Karen. She lives just a few miles away. I'll get you together." And Karen said when this girl came in, who I saw as a beautiful lady, she was a bedraggled-looking little kid. So Ruth and Karen together did things like that. Okay, back to this. After Ruth was graduated in 1960, it was not long until she became Mrs. Leon Ralls. And by 1963, 2 children were born, Ronald and Jane. The parents and the children were active in the Shelbyville church. Ruth taught Sunday school, worked in VBS, played the piano, taught after-school groups, and went with other Shelbyville ladies on their days to cook at camp. She drove carloads of young people to youth rallies and to camp. Leon has been a deacon, an elder, a Sunday school teacher, and he also developed a prison ministry for the Shelby County Jail. He read widely, and he did not just read. If he had questions, he might write a letter to the author so as to find out more about it. He was always thinking and evaluating. There were times when there was no preacher, and so the 2 of them would take over the youth programs, and the young people would come to their home. Leon would teach one group, and Ruth had another one. What about Ronnie and Janie? They were easily told to go to a bedroom to play quietly, and they usually did. Why did they do all these things? It was their faith in Christ that was the guiding and driving force in their lives. That's why we can call them dedicated friends. As stated earlier, Ruth went on ahead to her eternal reward September 8th, 2014. Leon joined her about 1 year later, September 25th, 2015. Today, in 2016, it seems strange to look around and not see Leon and Ruth at this event. And you see a picture up there now, and they are on the back side of the table. Ruth is to the left, Leon's to the right. On the right side of the picture are Jack Richardson and his wife, Karen Westergaard Richardson. And on the left side are a couple people sitting over here, David, Nancy Abbott. David came to us from Newton, Iowa, and Nancy came from New Point, Missouri, and her brother Leroy's around here somewhere, I think I saw him. Oh, there he is over there. So it's just good to see you people and know so much about you. It makes life special. Looking forward to heaven. Maybe we have time to get together. But there's one thing we can do. We can honor this dedicated couple and their service for Christ with a special gift, and then resolve to do what we can continue to do, the work for Jesus Christ and his church in this area. But today, we honor Leon and Ruth Ralls, dedicated friends, dedicated primarily to the cause of Christ.
Many of those pictures and that story are on our website. We'll be sharing that and letting alumni and other friends see that as a way to just remember their memory and their contribution through the years to the work of Central. And when they both passed away, there were a few memorial gifts that were made in their honor. But today's offering will include an opportunity if you'd like to make a gift in memory of them, and the card that you have has a spot on it where you can in the middle put if you want your gift to be in memory of them. We'll notify their family that you shared a gift of at this day and that you joined in that recognition of their contributions to the college. The card also has a place there that you can note if you'd like to support the Minuteman Fund. And on the back side of the card, if you would like to give by credit card, you can either write credit card information at the back and seal it in the envelope, or if you'd rather not write all that out, we can process that directly later. See Alan Wilson, and he can take care of that for you. But our gifts today are in support of the Full Tuition Scholarship Fund, and that is something that we give to our located students here. Our online students don't get it, but the students who come here do, and it's one of the ways that we've been able to keep the college affordable for those students that can't really find a way to be in an environment like this and train for the ministry that God has called them to. And as I talked to the freshmen this year, and I asked them about their decision to come here and what made them get excited about Central, what gets a lot of them thinking about Christian service is when they know that there's a scholarship waiting for them if that's what they choose to do. They have to pay for a lot of schooling. They have to pay for their room and board. They have to pay for their activities. But what they don't have to pay for is the instruction. And the donations from supporters like you make it possible for us to not have to charge them tuition so that they can know that it's that important to somebody that those gifts are made so that students like them can be part of it. You look around the room, you see all those flags from the different countries. Those are where we've had students come from to study here. We also have about 40 different states represented here as well that are studying, and it's just amazing. Tomorrow will be our In Focus Friday when we bring in prospective students from around the country, and usually we have 6 or 7 different states represented on any of those In Focus Fridays where they've driven here because they've heard about this school and they want to check it out to see if it's real. It's actually kind of amazing to me when they get that letter in the mail. I hear they say, the first question I had, is this for real? And I had a student who did that this year, and he said, I got the letter. I've been wanting to go to a university. I could not afford to go, and so he stayed at home. He was working as a janitor at a Christian school. And when he got the letter from us, he took it to his grandpa, who was an elder at his church there in California. And he said, Grandpa, I think this is a place I could go to school. And his grandpa said, I don't think you should go there. I don't think it's possible that it's true. He said, well, look at it on the internet. It's there. He goes, well, it doesn't seem to be real to me. And he ended up watching the commencement ceremony right in this room. We stream it live online. His grandpa watched it, saw that it was going to be held, and sat down and watched it. And after it was over, he said to his grandson, you can go to that place. I like what they're doing there. So first, it's the scholarship that gets a lot of their attention. And then when they find out more about us, they get more excited. So I hope you'll realize that those gifts do make a difference in taking students that otherwise would not go to Christian college and train for service. But that gets their attention and says, this is something maybe that I should do as well. So when you have a chance to fill that out and put it in an envelope, there's little tins on the tables that look like this. And they should have room in there. Each table has its own tin. Just throw your envelope in there when you get a chance, and we definitely appreciate your generosity and your willingness to help in this way.